Hello everybody, I'm Tiff, and this is my 1967 Fiat 500. If you're new to the channel, and thank you to everybody who's joined off the back of the Morgan Supersport Drive video, I bought this back in 2018 as a late 21st birthday present to myself. We went on holiday to Rome, saw a swarm of these things buzzing about, and I decided I had to have one. So after quite a lot of searching, I imported this one from Milan, Italy, obviously, to Cheshire in the United Kingdom. Now, it took me a while to decide on a spec. I think they do deserve a bright colour, but when I saw Harry's garage video of his white car with his white wall tyres, I decided that was the spec for me. My Fiat is from 1967 and is a 110F Berliner, according to the paperwork, whatever that means. But essentially it's an F, so it's got the round dial, but it's also got a sort of RL nose with the neat little badge. Fiat sold 4 million of Dante Giacosa's little beasties between 1957 and 1975. I asked Centro Storico Fiat if they could tell me exactly how my little Fiat left the production line, and they told me that the records never reached their archive. Very Italian. Now, what I can tell you from the patina here that suggests there are 3 or 4 coats of paint going on, several different shades of white, and the fact that these seat covers are absolutely not original and are covering tan vinyl, is this definitely is not how my car left the factory. Now, I've not done any great journeys or road trips with my 500, mainly because, as the title suggests, I have had so many problems during my ownership. Time, therefore, to move on to a section called Everything Wrong with My Fiat 500, starting with me sending it to the wrong specialist on its arrival in the UK. My one and only brief to them was that I simply wanted it to start and run reliably. Not so much money no object, but go through everything and do what needs to be done for it to be a nice little runabout. There were a couple of more expensive items like the carb, brakes and clutch that needed a bit more work than expected, so after many weeks I got the car back and they'd done a bang average job. So big bill number 1 at £2,975. This was an awful lot of money for then 22-year-old Vauxhall Corsa driving Tiff, but at that time I thought that was essentially going to be the car sorted and ready to go. It arrived only really wanting to run on 1 cylinder, and it turned out he dropped washers in the distributor, somehow. So after my first and only short drive with the traditional distributor, it conked out and didn't run for months while I was working and studying away. So fast forward to July 2019, £103 on refurbishing the sticky starter motor, £20 on extra bits, and in August 2019, £245 I treated the car to an electronic 123 ignition distributor. So I don't have any more struggles with the ignition, and then in September 19 I picked the car up from a more trusted local garage that did a great job. They only charged £240 for the work. Just over £600 in round 2 of bills. Almost as frustrating as the initial issues then were the new and improved 3-point seat belts that the first guy fitted. They only work on alternate Tuesdays when the car is perfectly level, if you smack them just right to unjam them, if there's a prevailing southwesterly wind, oh, and your name must be Keith. Then the indicators broke, which needed a new relay, and you can see that saga here, along with a few other tweaks. Bills, number 5. Next I wanted to get the plate off for the Jag, and the Fiat required a valid MOT to do this. This revealed that the handbrake was rubbish and that my brakes were imbalanced. Bill number 6, 170 quid, which brings us up to winter 23 when my gearbox decided to implode. Bill number 7, a little under £450, I sourced a reconditioned box for £575 and went to AR Autos in Bishop's Waltham, who were brilliant to be fair. After this the car's working perfectly reliably for a total of £1,023. Lastly, I took it out to test the box thoroughly, and then both the carb and the speedo decided to implode. A little over £200 to get that sorted, bought a carb kit, back to AR Autos, legends, they got it peachy again, and with a lot of swearing I put a new speedo cable through the car. It should be this here, just off the back of the gearbox. So that did require pliers to get off just because it's clearly been on for so long, but there's the old cable which I think has snapped halfway up. So just to recap then, in on the back of the speedo, it's fed down through the engine bay, which you'll notice needs a little bit of restoration. Weather seal back on, absolute pain to get through that way, but look at that, nice and easy. So we'll go and secure it to the back of the gearbox. Interestingly, this actually allows you to see the actuation of your hot air coming through the tunnel when you want some heat. Your little switch under the back seats there. Bought a new speedo drive for the gearbox and a reconditioned dial as well, which is much smarter than the old faded one. Bills number 8. But then, just as I intended to shoot a different version of this video and go, my 500 is fixed, the front right shock failed and started creaking, so bill number 9, a little under £250, including an MOT, as I decided to replace all of the shocks. To be fair, around £100 for all 4 shock absorbers is pretty reasonable, I think. Total spend on parts and restoration then is a little over £5,700, but I simply don't care. I don't see myself parting with this car ever, unless it was for another 500, maybe an original Abarth 500, but you could have at least 4 of these for the price of one of those. Which brings us to today. Running brilliantly has been my little runabout in the village. Now we've moved and we're no longer forced to use motorways to get everywhere. I don't really know what's next with the Fiat in terms of content. Short of a full project and restoration, I just want to keep it running well. Now once I've built a garage at the new place, or got a unit somewhere, I do plan to go over the 500 much more thoroughly in the future in terms of cosmetics and interior. A bit more of a proper restoration, like I say. So do subscribe to see plenty more of that as it happens. It will be in the near future, I hope. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Ciao!